What's going on, everyone? Here, just looking to do something today. The weather's been crappy here a lot lately, so I haven't really been able to do much. With that time, I've looked through YouTube and other videos, also forums on Facebook on just reloading 22 art. I've reloaded in the past, but I'm always looking for newer ways to do it. Now, one thing I've only found a couple videos on is reforming 22 arc brass. Um, you know, with Hornady really being the only option. I think Alpha Brass now has some, but I can't afford paying that kind of money for Alpha Brass. Plus, I'm only using really these loads for hunting, so if I happen to lose a case here or there, it's no big deal. With that, I'm using Starline's 6.5 Grendel brass. This seems to work well for me. My process, though, is reforming and then fire forming after that. So I usually use just some sort of cheap projectiles to fire form while also getting some rounds through my gun to also help, foul it and um, make sure that the rifle's still shooting decently, function testing and all that. So I just want to show you my process, and I hope that you'll stick around and learn something. If not, I'm always open to seeing what other people will do. But like I said, I just haven't found very many videos, and this is going to be my attempt at showing what I do. Okay, so as you can see here, I take the Starline brass, which is 6.5 Grendel. I set it up like this. I have this liquid lanolin alcohol mix, which is a ratio of 10 to 1. You can find it on YouTube. I seem to get the best results out of this. I do use like case lube and stuff like that, but I don't know. This works a lot better for me. So what I'll do is with all the case necks and everything else up, I'll do a couple of squirts, rotate it, make sure that I get it all in there. So after that, I'll kind of just swash them around. Then I'll let them sit for about 10-15 minutes. That way all the alcohol can evaporate off of them. And then from there, I will set up my sizing die, which I'll do next and show you. Okay, so for the next step, I take my already 22 arc die. I know it looks kind of weird. I don't have the expander ball in there. I actually took it out. It will work just fine if you want to use it. But for me, I found out that my brass comes out more consistent if I use an expander mandrel, which is from 21st century. Well, the housing is, and the actual mandrel itself is from, I believe, Sergeant of Arms. Now, I was checking the website last night to see if I can get one for 6mm arc, but they don't have any on the website, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they're doing some updates. Who knows? But that's what I use. So I'll show you the steps in which I size. So, like I said, I'll take my die here, and I will raise the ram, and I will screw it down until it makes contact. Now, here's the important part. Um, Make sure that you do not over tighten it. So when you feel pressure, let it go. Do not go another quarter, 16th, eighth of a turn, because what that'll do is that'll create what they call a create a false shoulder, which I don't think that you might be able to see, but it's like a little divot there. So you have the shoulder, and then it kind of goes up and then into that. So that's just one that I've done in the past, and I just wanted to show you that that's you don't want that. You can shoot it, and it will fire form out okay, but I just wanted to show you. So what you'll do is, now that I have it just touching, not camming over, I will take my press. I'll put the 6.5 Grendel case in there. I will raise it up, put it in there, leave it for a second or two, just because sometimes brass gets that bounce back that I've seen, which creates some inconsistencies. And I will lower it. And just like that, as you can see, no false shoulder. Like I said, I don't think you can, but there's no false shoulder there. Let's say that I have done all this or all the brass sizing. I will take that out and I will put in my expander mandrel. And from there, because I still have lube on the inside of the case whenever I sprayed everything, I will drop it in. You could probably see the case just right there. I'll leave it in there for a second. Like I said, just because of the bounce back. And voila, 22 arc. Okay, and from here, I will resize all the rest of the cases using the same method, and then I will show you what I do next. So the next step that I take is I take my brass that I just resized, and I use this corncob media. What I'll do is I'll just throw it in there for about 45 minutes to an hour. It still has all that liquid lanolin stuff on there. So this is just to get that off and make sure that everything else is dry on the inside as well. So I'm not trying to clean the brass per se, just trying to get all that stuff off. Um, Now, if I do, once this is fired, what I'll do to clean the brasses, I will use wet tumbling, and we can get into that in another video of my cleaning process. So yeah, this is just what I do to get all this stuff off. If somebody else does something else different or has any ideas, just let me know. But I will let this go for about 45 minutes to an hour. All right, now that the brass has finished tumbling, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sifter, it's RCBS sifter. It'll separate the brass from the corncob media. This right here, this little um, mesh thing I actually found on Amazon as a 2-pack. Since I said I do wet tumbling, this does share this separator, so I don't want to mix the corncob media and then also my steel pins. So what I do is I use this to catch media. So I have one for the corncob media and I have one for the steel pins, if you're wondering why I'm using that. So this thing just opens up, then you'll grab the corncob media tumbler. And you'll just dump it like so in there. Then you just close this, close that. Normally you'd latch it, but I just hold it down and I tumble it for maybe, you know, 30 seconds to a minute. So I alternate just to make sure that I get all the corn cob out. Since there's only about 50 pieces in there, it's not going to be too bad. Might not even need to sit there for that long. For a few more seconds. I don't think that should be good. All right. So some of it likes to escape. Now, just like that, dry to the bone. Don't have to worry about any of that lanolin being on there. All right, so that's that step. What I'll do is I'll get all this out and load up onto a loading tray, and then we'll go on with the final step of reforming the 22 arc brass. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is when you are separating the media from your brass, what you'll want to do is make sure that there is no, corn kernels or anything else like that in the brass. You just want to look in there and make sure that you don't see anything. Also, check the primer pocket. Sometimes there are kernels that will get stuck in that little flash hole. So if you ever find yourself like having any kernels or anything else like that, you can always just take like a Q-tip or something like that, you know, just kind of swab it around in there, and if there's anything in there, it'll usually come out. Just kind of a quick note, as I said, I forgot to kind of mention that. Now, the last step I do is with all new brass, doesn't matter if it's the regular 6.5 Grendel brass or, any brass that you buy. It's important before reloading that you chamfer and deburr. I don't know if you can see, it's just kind of a flat, uh, I guess, rim around the mouth. What that'll do with the chamfer and deburring is make sure that you can seat the bullet in there nice and easy like. So um, all I do is I take my little Case Prep Duo here. Now you can get a hand one, which I have one around here, and it'll do the same thing. Good thing about this one is it is automatic, so all I have to do is turn it on. Well, it's out of battery. Well, anyways, uh, not everything goes as planned, but you can just take this. I mean, this will still work the same. You just kind of go over. Want to make sure that you get the inside and then the outside as well. And I don't know if you can see it, but that the inside there should be a little beveled edge and stuff like that. That will allow you to seat that in there. Now, like I said, this is just how I do it. Other people can do it differently. I know that they have different die sets. Like, for instance, like I said, I use the Hornady one. I know RMR has some awesome looking die sets that come with everything that you need. I think they even have their own expander mandrel as well. But I can't, just like Alpha Brass, I can't spend that kind of money to um, do this hobby. I've already spent so much money in other things, and people that reload probably understand where I'm coming from with components, primers, brass, projectiles, especially if you have a ton of different calibers, dies, everything adds up. But like I said, I didn't see anything really on the web about reforming brass. I saw some quick little YouTube shorts and stuff like that. So I just wanted to give it a go. I'm usually one of those people that if there isn't anything on there, I'll try and figure it out myself. And so if y'all are like me, sometimes a visual aid will help out. So, yep, that's it. Hope y'all stayed to the end. If y'all did enjoy, leave a like, comment. I don't know if you want to subscribe. I don't know how many videos I'll do, but if this video gets enough views, I guess I can go into my reloading process and kind of show you what kind of guns I have um, and how they shoot. Those are just Frankenstein builds. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. Who knows? Maybe I'll just do it just to do it. But anyways, thank y'all for sticking around, and hope y'all have a great day.